Hey, hi, hello, and everyone. Welcome to our second week of doing a live real estate coverage. Last week, we got to talk a lot about becoming a real estate agent, what that all takes, and talking about the benefits and struggles of being a realtor or being a real estate agent, and picking the right brokerage to work with. But this week, we're going to be talking a little bit more about running your own business, and then we're also going to hopefully be able to talk about the 5 misconceptions of being a real estate agent. So if we don't get to those today, we'll get to those later on here. But just to give you a quick background about myself, my name is Justin. I'm part of the Realty growth team here in Rochester, and I'm a licensed real estate agent. I've been a nurse at Mayo for a number of years, but I got to join the team here at RGI about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And so I've learned a lot along the way, and I just want to be able to share it with you. So during our live stream, go ahead and ask us questions. We'd love to answer them for you as we do things live here. So first things first is last week we had kind of talked a little bit about what it takes to become a real estate agent. So I'm going to have Mr. Media pull up that here on what it takes to be, what Kaplan says are the steps that you need to become a real estate agent. So if you look here on the webpage, it just talks a little bit about the salesperson's pre-licensing education requirements in Minnesota. And there's not a lot. There's just a few steps. Really, it's just being 18 years of age or older, being able to submit a background check and doing fingerprinting. And then you need to have your high school degree. You don't need to have a college degree. It's a license. So all you have to do is complete those 90 hours of education. The way Kaplan does it, and many other courses do it the same way, is doing 3 different courses, and you have to complete 90 hours of education to be able to finish your license. Once you do that, you also have to take essentially state and national boards as well and pass both of those. And once you do, then you can be a real estate agent. Last week, we covered a little bit about finding the right brokerage to work with. And we covered a little bit about the benefits and struggles of being a real estate agent. So today, what I wanted to focus on was running your own business. This is a big part of it. When you are a real estate agent, you are truly running your own business. Everything from managing your time to finding your leads to completing the deal, it all falls on you. There's nobody else that it falls on, so you have to be able to run everything. And I think that's something that people need to realize as well when they jump into a field like this. So what do you need to do to get your name out there is the first thing. So really, as you're a real estate agent, you need to be able to build your own brand. You need to make yourself known and get your name out into the public. And it's important to do that because nobody knows that you're here unless you advertise yourself out there, and nobody knows what you do unless you tell them what you do. So I think the easiest way to do this, and I think there's 3 kind of effective ways of doing this, but the easiest way, as we all can guess, is doing social media. And that could be anything about posting things right online, on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, maybe not TikTok. I don't know where that's going to be come January, so hold out on that. I don't know if I would make that your mainstream at this point. But anyway, posting what you do in the community or what you do in your state, putting that online is essential, and it's super easy to do that. It can be done with just doing post. It can be done with doing videos. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it, but it's a pretty easy way to get your name out there and pretty low cost to do it. Of course, you can pay for ads as well to do it. The other way of getting your name out there is a little bit more involved, doing cold calling, cold emailing, getting out and meeting people out in public. But cold calling is something that I think is super beneficial and is something that I feel has provided me a lot of leads and has gotten me connected more with the community. So if you're not familiar with that is, it's simply just picking up your phone, dialing up a business or a client, giving them a call and seeing if they want to work with you, see if they have any needs for their business or if they're looking for residential, seeing if they need any help with that. And I'll share this kind of example that I had doing cold calling one time. Was I had reached out to a business to see if they needed any help with any real estate needs, such as storage for their business or finding more space for their business. And while they at that time didn't need anything for themselves, they sent me to another individual who ended up wanting to list their property that they had. So now, because I made that one phone call, I was able to make a connection with another, and I was able to get a listing from that. So one phone call ended up being two different leads that I got to work with, and I keep in contact with them and continuously trying to build those relationships. So picking up the phone and getting your name out there, it's huge. It's a really easy thing to do. It's uncomfortable at first. I feel like when I very first started making phone calls, it was very awkward and not well rehearsed. But after a while, you kind of get over that and you find your way of talking to people, and it becomes pretty easy to do. It's scary, I understand, but it's something that I think is essential. Let's see. The other thing then is just kind of focusing on your personal connections. We all have our list of friends and family members that we know, and never forget about just reaching out to them and letting them know that you're in the world of real estate. They might not need something themselves, but maybe they know somebody that does need something. So just reaching out to all your friends, all your family, your coworkers, letting them know that you're now in real estate is a great way to kind of get your name out there. I was thinking about this earlier, and I'm going to have Chris pull this up here for me. I think this is something that's kind of interesting. So we had, I was listening to a podcast one day, and they were talking about this red car theory. And I thought this was something that was really interesting. So in talking about getting your name out there and making cold calls, I thought this was something that's kind of cool. So we'll pull up this link here. You can read it or look it over if you want. But I thought this was interesting. The individual said, "Tell me, how many red cars did you see on your way into work today?" And the guy just looked and was like, I don't know, maybe one. He didn't really know. And so then they said, "Listen, I will pay you $25 for every single red car you see on your way into work the next day." And what that does is it changes your mindset from just driving in and not seeing what's around you to actively looking for a red car, because now you know that every single time you see a red car, you get to mark it down and you get $25 for it. It's that same kind of concept when you're in real estate as well. So when you're making cold calls and you're trying to reach out to businesses, if you're not looking for the opportunities, you're not going to find them. So you need to go out and look at every single opportunity that's out there, whether it's a business or it's residential, just looking around and trying to find, where is there a need? Who can I reach out to? Just opening your eyes and bringing yourself aware of those possibilities is a big part as well. So moving on here, the other thing that can help you be successful in running your own business is having mentors. And what that would look like is anyone who that you see is a good example of what you want to accomplish. I think just even in my brokerage that I work with, there are a ton of really great mentors here who have been doing this for a long time, and they know what they're talking about. And being able to have a mentor is great because they can provide you guidance, they can give you networking opportunities, they can help you in a pinch when you need something. And they've done this for years and years, so they know the answer to something. So if you get stuck, they can help you out. The other great thing about having a mentor is the accountability. So one of the struggles that I say with real estate or just being in your own business is you are 100% accountable for every single thing that happens. And so it can be easy to kind of slip away and not focus on what you need to do and get kind of sidetracked. So if you have a mentor, I think it's really helpful because they can kind of keep you accountable, and whether they're not directly keeping you accountable, you know that you now have someone that you need to help, or you need to be able to do something for. So you just have somebody that you can work with, I think can be really beneficial. And while we were going through this, please guys, let me know if you have any questions or what your thoughts are on any of the things that I say here too. You can just put them in the comments and we'll talk about them here as well. All right, so kind of moving on here. when you are running your own business or when you're in real estate, you do have to do a lot of education for yourself as well. And there's a lot of places that you can go. So I'll have our Mr. Media guy here pull up again. The Kaplan has a great resource for you. So when you are doing your or when you are in your own business, when you got your license and you're working as a real estate agent, you're not just done with your education. You have a lot of continued education that you have to do every year. So what that, in short, really boils down to is about 30 hours of continued education that you have to continually do. So even just scrolling down, looking at Kaplan, it breaks it down for you really. You do need to complete 15 hours each year. You're not supposed to really just put all 30 hours off to the last minute and do it. They want you to do 15 hours one year, 15 hours next year. And for the most part, you can do whatever hours that you want. But you do need to be able to take some required courses. So if you scroll down a little on the page here, you'll see that there are 15 hours that you have to complete each year. That first year, or each annually, there's 3 hours and 45 minutes of mandatory classes that you have to take. And those things are ones that they require you to take that you must do. There's also every 30 hours, you're doing 1 hour of fair housing and 1 hour of agency law as well. So there's a few things that you have to do, but for the most part, you can kind of take your CEUs in any way that you want. And even just besides doing those continued courses and those continued CEUs, there's other things that you can do. You can find online resources, much like what you're doing right now, watching this video. You can find out through others and their experiences. You can listen to podcasts. You can read, join any professional associations, and kind of the big thing with this is just knowing that you're going to have to guide yourself throughout all of your education. Again, nobody is leading you, so you need to be able to lead yourself throughout all of this. All right. And again, if you have questions, please write those down in the comments. We'd love to answer them for you throughout this whole time as well. So here I had also kind of wanted to talk about a number of different personal skills that you might need in order to kind of be successful in being a business owner or being a real estate agent. And some of those things are, the first one would be time management. This is a big part of what we needed of being successful in business and being a real estate agent. There's a lot of very demanding things of your time. Whether that be an email with a client that you are working with or just personal things going on in life. And you need to be able to manage your time throughout all of those different things. And that can be kind of challenging to do. We only have so many hours in a day and we can't spend 100% of it on work. So it's very imperative that you understand what is priority and take care of that and then work your way down. And oftentimes in that time management, I think it's important for us to realize that the things that need to be done are the ones that we don't want to do the most. So I know I fall guilty of that sometimes. It's a lot easier just to come into the office and answer 25 emails, but I didn't get that one big thing done that I need to do. So oftentimes I try to now just get that one big thing done, and you're going to feel that load of that pressure just taken off of your shoulders. And so just getting really good with your time management is important as well. I think too, another skill to have is just having a questioning and receptive attitude or mindset. Going into this and thinking that you know the answers to everything, not a really good way to go. You're learning it, you're learning everything. And so I would just go in with a mindset that is, it's okay for me to not know, and I might feel silly not knowing the answer, but just being able to admit that and learn from others it's important. I think back to when I was in nursing school, one of their things they always said was you spend your first year just learning what nursing is and what you're doing, and then you spend the next year really polishing on your skills, and then after that is your third year is when you really start to be able to put all the pieces together. I feel that same thing in real estate as well. I think that your first year, you don't know everything you need to know, and you're spending that whole time trying to just learn the field. Second year is more about polishing those skills and really further solidifying them. And then the third is going to be a lot easier. You'll know the information. You'll be able to progress further and a lot faster. I think another thing is being able to have the mental fortitude to be able to be your own business owner and be able to be a real estate agent. There's a lot of things with this that can be exhausting. It's challenging running your own business, and you really do need to have that kind of mental resilience and stay motivated throughout all of it. And I think one of the hardest things that you need to realize being in real estate or just being in business yourself is knowing that every month is going to be different as a form or in the way of income. Some months you might have $0 coming in, and the next month you have a lot more coming in. And that can be really challenging. Maybe you have 2 or 3 months where you're not bringing anything in, and you need to be able to have the mental capacity to be able to take that on, because it can be a little daunting when you look and see, like, I haven't made anything this month. Well, just keep going, because the next thing is going to be coming. Another skill is definitely the self-drive, kind of going hand in hand with what we were just saying. I feel like you definitely need to be able to have your own self-drive within yourself. Again, I have said before many times, you are your own boss. There's nobody that is telling you what to do, when to do it by. So you need to be motivated. You need to have that work ethic, and then be able to act on it. Right? I think that it is hard to do something like this if you're not self-driven. So just keeping that in mind as well. The other thing, and perhaps the biggest thing, is having really good communication skills. And that can look like communication through email. It could be communication through text, phone calls, however you do it. You need to have effective communication, because a lot of things can get dropped and go by the wayside. And things do. You end up being busy, and there's a lot of stuff that you have going on. So just making sure you have good communication between you and your colleagues and you and your clients is imperative as well to kind of have that success in real estate. And again, just keep putting your questions there in the comment section when you have something come up that you're wondering about, or it doesn't even have to be a question. Just feel free to write whatever you want. If you agree or don't agree with what we're saying, we want to hear that as well. So moving on here, we will talk about the 5 misconceptions of being a real estate agent. And I think the most or the biggest misconception I hear is that real estate is easy and that money just comes in really easy. I think that can't be further from the truth. As we've just said, there's a lot of different things that you need to have as far as skills, personal skills, professional skills, but then just being able to be self-driven and knowing that you are your own boss. Listen, the money doesn't just come in easy. It can, right? You can have one deal where you spend an hour and you finish a lease and you get $500 for that. That's great. But most of the time, it seems like the way it works is you spend a number of months working on a deal and you might get $500 for that. So yes, money can come rather easily with a deal, but for most of the time, it takes a long time to get that pay. And so it's not as easy as it looks. There's a lot of moving parts with it, and it takes a lot of effort. The other thing I think that people feel with real estate is that it can be a part-time job. I used to think that myself a little bit, is, hey, maybe I'll be able to do this by my, just half time. And I think that's really hard to do. There's a lot of demands from others as they're doing this that they're requiring of your attention and of your time. And so doing it part-time, let's say you're doing 20 hours at one job, and so you do 20 hours in real estate. Well, that's great. You're doing a 40-hour work week, but it's hard to get things done in that 20 hours. So you really do, to be effective at this and be able to take it to the next level, eventually it's something that you're going to need to be full-time in doing. And so keeping that in the back of your mind as well. The other thing I think that there's a little bit of a misconception about is that there's only one type of real estate agent. I think that when I talk to people, or when people hear the word real estate agent, they think that there's only one type of real estate agent, and that's residential. And that's not true. There's a lot of other ways that you can go about it. There's residential, there's commercial, there's mixed use, industrial, and agricultural. So there's a lot of different specialties within real estate. And so it's good to know that, right? You don't have to go into real estate thinking that, well, I don't want to sell houses, or I don't want to sell businesses or commercial buildings. There's a lot of different avenues that you can go, and you can specialize in just doing lease deals in business. You can specialize in doing sales in commercial real estate. You can specialize in just doing residential. There's a lot of different avenues that you can go. So if you are considering going into real estate and being a real estate agent, I would definitely recommend that you reach out to a number of different brokerages and see if you can go talk with them. What are their specialties? What do they do? And see if you can also find a real estate agent that you like and want to work with, and see if you can shadow with them so you can understand a little bit more. Maybe your thought was, well, I do want to do residential, but then you start getting a little bit more commercial, and then you want to do that. So you can kind of mix and match and do a number or small pieces of each different area. But just know that there are a lot of different places that or a lot of different avenues that you can go with it. Excuse me. Okay, the other misconception that I want to talk about too is that all agents or all real estate agents are salespeople. Yes, we are in a field where we need to make sales, but also at the same time, it's not that we're just salespeople and that when we meet with you, we only want to make a sale. I think that we've said it in our own brokerage before that we really feel like we're more helping out in advising roles and helping people understand what do they need to do to buy a house, what are the steps involved with it, or you want to buy a commercial property for your business, what do those steps look like? Or maybe you want to just lease out an office or a building for your business, what do those steps look like? There's a lot of things that are kind of behind the scenes, and so I think realizing that real estate agents are also really good at advising and helping people throughout that entire process is important. So realizing that yes, they're in sales, but you're really doing a lot of advising for people is essential to realize as well. The other misconception that I see or hear is that agents tend to just be a glorified door opener, and they go and they open the door and that's it. And again, this is something that I think is a little bit further than the truth. Real estate agents do a lot. We are doing a lot of things behind the scene, whether that be talking to individuals on your behalf or going out and finding the properties for you. I like to think about it this way as well, is that real estate agents have a lot of knowledge, and the reason it feels like that things can move quickly is because of the real estate agent. You can go find your own property, and you can go find your own space to lease by yourself, but it takes a lot more time than if you were to just reach out to an agent who already knows the market, who already knows kind of what your needs are, and then they can quickly find the space for you. So there's a lot of moving parts behind it as well. So those are kind of the 5 different misconceptions that I would share about real estate agents and being in this line of work. So we kind of talked a little bit about those misconceptions, and we talked a little bit about kind of what to expect as running your own business. And I think that this is a field that it's definitely a really fun one. There's a lot of moving parts with it. It's just being ready to go into it and take it on. Whether you want to be a real estate agent or you want to have your own business, a lot of these things that we talked about can go with any type of business that you go to work in. The other thing is just noticing too that, like, as agents, as we said, we are great at advising and helping people throughout their whole entire time trying to find a place to be. So please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We'd love to help you out with your search, whether that be for commercial, residential, agricultural. We are here to answer your questions and help you out throughout all of that. I'm going to have Chris pull up here as well our YouTube page. So as we said, we went through a number of different things that we that we talked about today, but we have 4 people out there. You can just go to our YouTube page. We made a whole list of, or we made a whole video series, I should say, of different education pieces that we have for you. That first video that we made is just simply on how to become a real estate agent and what the steps take. The second video is all about the benefits and struggles of being a real estate agent and what to expect with that. The next video is picking the right brokerage to work with. I really love that one. And then this one, what we just talked about today, is running your own business. And then the last video is talking about the 5 misconceptions of being a real estate agent. So we did kind of just a short and condensed version last week and this week, talking about all these different topics. But feel free to go into those videos and watch them anytime you want. They're just there for you to use. And like I said, they're free. So check them out. But also, please reach out to us, email us, give us a call. We would love to help you out with all of your needs in real estate. So thank you all very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Again, if you have questions, thoughts, give us a holler, and we'll talk to you next time. Yay. I assume that Chris got that ended there. There you go.